Do you think people will vote for me?
Heck yes, I'd vote for you.
Like, what are my skills?
Well, you have a sweet microphone, and you're really good at watching flicks, especially at 2 times speed with ninja skills. Plus, you're like the only guy at school who's a captain.
Of this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Retro Systems Online. Reflux capacitor fluxing. Scanning room space-time for Napoleon Dynamite 2004. Rewinding in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I'm your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the PaulJPowers.com voting for Pedro Powers.
So me and you are pretty much friends by now, right?
Exactly.
So you got my back and everything?
What?
Never mind.
Also, for this discussion of the film Napoleon Dynamite, we welcome back aboard Chief Historian David Bobo Bobke. Hey, Bobo.
I was told you were going to build me a cake or something.
That's why I'm here.
I forgot about that. In addition, we are glad to have back aboard Archives Officer Drew Dodgen. Hey, Drew.
Do the chickens have large talons?
What is a chicken? Now they have a quick flyby of who we are.
Pollo. That means chicken in San Francisco.
Now they have a quick flyby of who we are. Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for Napoleon Dynamite?
All right. Napoleon and Samantha was released July 5th, 1972, and is rated G. Runs an hour and 32 minutes, and is directed by Bernard McEvie. Was written by Stuart Raffle, and stars Michael Douglas, Jodie Foster, and Johnny Whitaker.
Awesome.
Sounds right.
How did it do at the box office?
It did okay.
Well, okay, we can't do the game on okay.
All right. Well, all right, let's see. Napoleon Samantha was made for an undisclosed amount because Disney didn't keep track of their records, or they're not releasing them from back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And at the box office, it came in at $26 million.
Awesome. Okay, so...
Yeah, so you ready for the box office trivia? Sorry, I'm off my game.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, so Bobo and Drew and everyone in chat, let's find out, let's guess where this ranked in the top movies. How many movies, Paul? 50?
Of 1972.
All right.
We'll go for the top 72 of 1972.
Perfect. Okay. Let's start with Bobo.
You know what? I'll go with 42.
Oh, good. That's
back
good.
on the gimmick.
Yeah. How about you, Drew?
What was the range again?
72.
Oh, well, then I'll go 71.
Okay. I'm going to guess $1, Bob. And
Number one.
In chat, we have 70, 40, 99. Now, keep in mind, this is all for Napoleon and Samantha. This movie.
And 99 is past 72. Yeah, sorry, D-Tungsten.
But, Paul, where did it actually end up?
It actually came in at 42. So good job, Bobo.
All right. Good job, Bobo. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for those factoids, Bob. Let's Paul, and let's see if anything factor into our mind bulbs or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we will get into once Alice has located our target film.
2 young runaways and an aging circus line. A movie odyssey of incredible adventure. Napoleon and Samantha. A story of compelling drama.
What do you want me to do? I want you to help me bury my grandpa.
No one's going to stop me? That's fine. I'll go with this one.
I figured you'd want to review another Disney movie.
Yeah.
But
I was just letting the bit flow.
I pulled up information for Dolomite just in case we needed a follow-up movie.
Paul,
yeah.
I begrudgingly say that we did not cover Napoleon Samantha. We're covering Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh. All right. Napoleon Dynamite came out January 15th, 2012. It was rated PG, TV PG. Each episode runs about 30 minutes, and the first season contains 6 episodes, and there's only one season.
I forgot there was a TV show adaptation of this.
Create. What do you mean you forgot? We reviewed it. We're reviewing it, right?
Paul, we're reviewing the movie, not the TV show.
That could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
This is the longest bit ever. All right. Napoleon Dynamite.
You have only yourself to blame, PaulJPowers.com.
Was released August 27th, 2004. That one?
Yes.
Before I go any further for another half hour.
Indeed.
Yes,
runs
that one. Hour and 36 minutes and is rated PG. It was directed by Jared Hess, written by Jared and Joshua Hess, with lead stars being John Heder, I don't know. Sorry, John.
Any of those.
Yeah, Efron Ramirez and John Grease. And the music was composed by John Swihart. I don't know. But are you ready for the box office trivia again for this movie?
Yes, I'm ready. Bobo, Chat, and Drew, are you guys ready?
All right.
I guess.
We'll try it again.
As the harbinger of podcasting chaos, I'm sorry to see the opening bit ending so early, but yeah.
Okay. Napoleon Dynamite was made for about $400,000 and earned over $40 million in the box office.
Good job, Napoleon Dynamite.
So given this fact, how high in the box office do you think it ranks among the movies released theatrically in 2004? And this time we'll go for the top 104.
Top 104. Unfortunately, Ashley's guess of minus 100 is not going to be correct.
Wow. Not only did it go to 1, but it went beyond and went into the negatives. Like it beat all of them.
I don't think that's what she was meaning, but sure, we'll go with that.
And she should have said 512.
Oh, well, shoulda, woulda, coulda. How about Drew? Give us your response.
I'm going to go 52.
52 for Drew. Bobo, are you going to go for 42 again or something else?
I don't know. Do I get credit for being right on the last one? I'll stick with 42 either.
All right. 42 for Bobo. Let's see. D. Tungsten guesses 101. Star Fox guesses 80. Ashley guesses minus 1,000. You're making it better, Ashley.
Wow. Movies are still trying to catch up.
2004, Napoleon Dynamite.
I am gonna guess 81.
All right.
So, Paul, where did it actually end up?
It came in at 95, according to the hyphennumbers.com.
So I think that makes me right. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I guess.
Well, a broken clock is right twice a day.
You were close, D. Tungsten, with 101. But it was the top 100. So you went over. You priced
No, I
out.
said 104. He stayed within.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Well, I think I am still closer by a little bit.
Captain makes the deciding vote.
You might be closer in that regard because you said 94.
Yes, it came in at.
So actually, you're closer, Bob. D. Tungsten. So good job. Good job.
Good job. Actually, it came in at 95.
Off the list completely, says Ashley. And Gigi, you win a copy of this DVD. Yep. Okay, Star Fox. That's great. I'm so glad D. Tungsten won that. Anyway, thank you for those.
People love talking about math on podcasts.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's find out if any of them factored into our memory mind melt or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get into once Alice says locate our target film.
Heck yes.
Alert. Target located. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
The most popular kid in school is back.
Idiot. We're both now trained to become a cage fighter.
Hey, Napoleon Dynamite. There's plenty to go around. Own Napoleon today.
Maybe I will. Gosh.
Yeah, maybe he will. Gosh. But hey, you know what? Maybe that quick TV spot brought back some memories for gosh us about this film if we had seen it before. So here's our memory mind melt synopsis of Napoleon Dynamite. The non-short, non-dead dude has to feed a dang quesa-dilluh to his grandma's llama, but won't share his tots. But Napoleon deals with difficulties as grandma breaks her coccyx, and Uncle Rico moves in while his brother successfully uses internet dating. Excuse me. Through the power of friendship, Rex Kwon Do, sweet dance skills, and no help from Tina the Fat Lard, young Napoleon helps Pedro win the presidency at school after showing off some dynamite dance moves. Yeah, that was somewhat this movie. I actually don't think that Pedro they ever said that he won. So
you did.
Our memories.
You
no,
did.
I didn't see it. Our memories were.
Did you fall asleep?
Decepted.
He was supporting Summer Wheatley.
Maybe. But based on those memories, as flawed as they were, what range did they lead you to predict for this film before our rewatch? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Let's start with Baba. What was your prediction for Napoleon Dynamite?
If you were rooting for Summer Wheatley, no wonder you hate this movie. Classic. I went in thinking classic.
Classic, okay. Drew, how about yourself?
I ended up predicting nostalgic.
Nostalgic. All right. Paul, and you?
Before rewatching it this time, I had only seen this once before, and it was in theaters, and I barely made it through that movie at the time, and my sentiments were kind of along the line of Napoleon when he said,
"This is pretty much the worst video ever made."
So I predicted tragic. Was not really looking forward to rewatching this, but hey, you guys voted it up. You wanted us to review it, so we're doing this for you.
Yep, that's what we're doing exactly. So sorry, Paul. So was that tragic then, or
that was tragic?
Right,
I predicted tragic.
Yeah. Because you said it was hard the first time you watched it. For me, I didn't even make it through the first time I had watched this. I made it through about halfway through. So, and I wasn't looking forward to watching this again. So my prediction was tragic, but like Paul said, we're here to serve you guys. You want to hear our thoughts on this? And hear them you shall. But
be careful what you wish
exactly. But it'll be interesting to see if those predictions pan out. Maybe we all ended up loving this movie. But first, let's get into let's see what might have spurred that newfound fondness in our like section. Kick that up, Alice.
Best bits.
Alrighty. So let us begin with I'm going to start with Paul actually this time. Break form, Paul. So what was your first thing you liked about Napoleon Dynamite?
One of the things that I enjoyed about this film is the settings, and it takes place in small town Idaho, which which we normally don't get to see in types of movies. Usually it's like big city or something. So this was it was a nice change of pace for the normal kind of movie settings. Like, take me somewhere I haven't been before. And this is somewhere I usually just drive through on a long road trip rather than stop by and look around. Yeah. And it looks like everything I imagined it would. But anyway,
nice.
It's nice to have a change of setting.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. Drew, was the setting something that you liked as well, or did something else make your like list for this film?
In a way, it was the setting, but it was more of the fact that this was, for a comedy, this had a relatively small, kind of intimate story. It was not like bombastic, crazy, like so many other comedies out there. So I kind of like that it was this is just a normal group of people. Oh, mostly a normal group of people. Just trying to live their lives. So, and there was no...
Drew, you're being very sweet but this is the like section, not the dislike section. I realize you're trying to say that this movie was boring in its comedy by saying it was so intimate.
it was boring.
I think you are. So why don't you give us an actual like?
I was not saying it was boring. Roy.
My name ain't Roy.
I was saying that it was nice to have jokes about everyday life, even if these are some of the strangest people out there. But then, of course, they're small town people. That's just how they are.
And all these jokes made you really laugh heartily and had a lot of laughs to them?
I had a couple laughs.
A couple. Interesting.
Really? That sounds pretty good.
But I'm sorry, I should have come down on you so much, Drew. It's not you, Drew. It's something else that we'll get to later.
I'm getting that. I'm getting that feeling.
It's like somebody let loose the chains on the Liger and he's roaming around freely.
Bobo, did you also enjoy the jokes in this film, or did something else make your like list?
It did have something to do with the script, and it's when you think Napoleon Dynamite, you think quotes, and obviously Paul has been taking advantage of that very much with the Lord today.
Again.
There it is.
Oh my.
A lot of lines in here that I've even found filter into my everyday speech. I still giggled when Kip said, "Your mom goes to college."
Yeah.
I
didn't realize I was still referencing that movie until to this day.
Oh wow!
I've actually seen this film.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
that's how much some of those quotes have seeped in. I know I still say "no doubt" in my mind. That one, I don't know how that one seeped in there, but I caught you a delicious bass and lucky, and yes, and a corroded piece of crap, and there's so many things that just are so quotable, and like I said, they're in my vernacular now, whether I want them there or not. But I can't not have a decent time watching this movie because of those.
Okay, sweet. All right. For me, something that I liked, I actually appreciated a couple of the characters. I actually really liked the Rex Kwon Do character. I think part of that though is because I enjoyed the actor on Whose Line Is It Anyway? And I remember I have that connection.
Is he on Whose Line Is It? I don't know if
Yeah,
I've seen
the American version. He is in. I could have sworn he was.
Yeah, he might be in a couple because he was on the Drew Carey show.
Maybe that's what. Maybe that's where I'm conflating. Maybe it was the Drew Carey show that
with Ryan Stiles. Yeah.
But and I also liked Deb. I thought she was a very sweet character. I was hoping for more for her in this movie, but I liked the color that those two characters brought to this film. So let's go back. Let's go to Drew again. What's something you liked? What's something else you liked about this film?
Something else I liked about this film, to me, the funniest thing in this entire film is right there at the beginning when Napoleon's walking out to get on the school bus and he says hi to Lyle, and Lyle's readying his shotgun. And shoots the cow on the other side of the bus, scaring all the children. That, for some reason, makes me laugh so stinking hard.
Really? Okay.
I guess it's just because it's so absurd.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But, and almost like strangely, more action than I think you get in the rest of this movie, but it was, that scene is still one of my favorites. It's still the funniest scene in the movie, in my opinion.
And like several scenes, it was based on true story that happened. In real life.
Yeah, to the director, I think, right?
Right.
Very realistic moment there for sure. Where just you have to, if you didn't know that was based on real life, you might be able to figure that out on your own. Just because it's such a, how would you think of that?
Yeah.
Oh, there are ways.
Oh my! All right, let's go with Bobo next. What's something else you liked about this film?
The second thing is similar to the movie Little Miss Sunshine. You get the big dance at the end.
Oh yeah,
which is a solo dance, not a big dance.
Yeah, that is similar
in a sense, but it's Napoleon just gets up there and does his thing, and not only is it just a different thing that happens in the movie, and it's a different sort of a thing that you're experiencing after watching all this. Well, the rest of the movie, basically.
Yeah.
But the crowd turn after he runs off stage, and you get sort of I call it the Wes Anderson version of a slow clap. I know this isn't a Wes Anderson movie, but it feels like a Wes Anderson movie before Wes Anderson was Wes Anderson.
In a way.
Except I'm sure Wes Anderson was making movies already. But anyway. But everybody starts clapping and raises up, and you feel that massive turn where everybody's all of a sudden supporting Pedro, who they didn't even probably know went to their school 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And everything is turned against Summer Wheatley. And I always enjoy that moment. It kind of made me feel similar to, made me feel happier than this, but sort of like in Pleasantville, where the tree catches on fire and like color all of a sudden enters the world. Like, because these people are from Idaho. They probably haven't seen dance moves like that before. They probably haven't heard music like that before. This is a whole new thing to them, and they're really excited about it.
It was definitely before like YouTube got big.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Paul, what was something that was big on your like list for you?
Well, that's the problem right now. At the moment, nothing comes to mind.
But actually,
I thought you were actually saying there was nothing.
No, actually, what I do like about this, people mentioned it's very quotable, and that's true. But also, it's relatively clean, especially for a comedy. That the language is clean, and we already said there's not a lot of violence, so it's surprisingly refreshing in that way.
Yeah, it's only rated PG, so that's a good point. Let's see. The next thing on for me that I liked before we get to our classic makers was I thought it was amazing the way that Napoleon or John Heder was able to capture my attitude about watching this movie throughout the entire movie. This sort of like listless, annoyed, can't believe he's having to live through life expression. It's like, how did he know? That's what I was experiencing. It's like he was connected to me. It's like I had chills. So I definitely liked Johnny's performance.
Went to urgent care. You got that taken care of. Came back, watched the rest of the movie. That's why it took you 17 hours to get through it.
It did not take me 17 hours. I watched it whatever it was.
So Francisco felt a connection to John Heder. And John Heder basically played Francisco in the movie Blades of Glory, right?
Moving on to classic makers.
Name's Heder, but he got chills. Well,
that's quite the deep cut there, Drew. Why don't you cut us deep with your classic maker?
This movie is a comedy of the awkward.
Okay.
And I kind of appreciate it for that. Admittedly, if you don't buy into this movie, like almost immediately, you're gonna be lost for the rest of the film, and I can imagine how torturous that would be, especially for apparently at least two of our people here.
Okay,
but it's the biggest example of that awkwardness. I feel actually is John Heder's performance as Napoleon Dynamite, and he does such a good job. Did it give you chills
also?
No, it didn't give me chills.
Oh.
No, but he did such a good job playing the king of the losers, for lack of a better term, because that's the thing, is this whole town is full of the uncool, the people who are just trying to live their lives.
Did you see Summer? I don't think she was uncool.
She was the antagonist. She is the person who, under normal circumstances, would have been the protagonist of the film, but she's not. We're following, it's a coming of age story for the losers, and I kind of liked it for that, and I thought John Heder did a great job of that.
I will say, I mean, she's only working at the Dollar Tree, so it's not like she's like this amazing person outside of school. It's like,
well, admittedly, she can't bum off of her sister Hilary Duff for too long. So
okay,
all right, but you really like this sort of this whole.
I love the comedy of the awkward.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's see, Bobo. What was your classic maker for Napoleon Dynamite?
This is where I wish I had a sound drop of from Mortal Kombat where they say friendship. The power of friendship is my favorite thing of the movie, because three of our main characters are basically loners at school. I don't know that Napoleon really had any friends at school. Pedro was brand new. You know, he's moved, I think, from Mexico to Idaho.
Hey, is that a new kid or something?
I don't know if anybody's going to say, oh, there's a new kid, we need to go meet him. You know, Summer Wheatley's not going to, Trish is not, none of these people are going to, because they're all kind of in their own little potato-y cliques or whatever.
Maybe I will. Gosh.
we see Deb, and she's sitting there eating lunch by herself. And Napoleon kind of, maybe inadvertently, but he kind of begins these friendships with them.
Yeah.
And they all become stronger and I think overall better people from working together. Obviously, Napoleon helps Pedro to win the presidency, as it says on the cake.
I still don't remember that.
Congratulating
He won?
him.
Yeah,
Definitely won. Yes.
I thought it was his birthday.
No, if you would read, Francis.
I could not read that cake. It said scribbles. That's what it said. I don't know how you guys are getting he won the presidency.
That's called Spanish, Francis.
Oh my god!
I thought you were teaching that on this stream at one point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand a lick of Spanish except for what I learned from Speedy Gonzalez. But I at least put 2 and 2 together and saw, presidente means president. That he won the presidency.
So yeah, they all, ultimately they all kind of help each other out. You got Deb and Napoleon maybe kind of becoming a thing at the end of the movie. And, friendship rules.
Friendship rules. All right.
Doesn't it, Francisco?
I mean, in real life, yes, I would agree. Let's see. So, I'm looking at pictures of this cake online. It says Pedro loves summer, guys. I think you're wrong. I think you're mistaken.
I doubt that.
Sorry.
I doubt this.
I don't think he won. Anyway, Paul, what about this movie won it for you? What was your classic maker?
Basically, the character of Napoleon and some of these other characters like Kip, they are so memorable. The creators did an awesome job of creating these characters who just can't especially Napoleon, because he's so frustrated with going through life, and they're with memorable quotes, which is a hard feat in itself. So bravo to the creators of this for creating memorable characters.
All right. No, that's totally fair, Paul. I guess that leaves me, guys. And so it's tough because my classic maker is like hand in hand linked with like the first thing I dislike, but we'll get to that here in a bit. But dang. I know my classic maker for Napoleon Dynamite is that it ended. So
you can say that again.
Now though, let's not end the podcast and let's talk about the things we did. Oh, you know what? I just realized there's one more thing I like, guys. I'm so sorry.
Again?
I should have.
The Cellcast, by any chance?
It's the Cellcast. Very good, Bobo.
I read the script.
The Cellcast.
You got a script?
When did you get a script? Anyway, the Cellcast.
Right here, I say tragic at the. Oh, sorry.
Hosted by Jacob and Drew.
Can we start that over, Francisco?
Yes. Oh, I forgot something else I like, guys. The Cellcast. The Cellcast hosted by I'm starting over now. I do it again.
Pretty much worst ad read ever.
Oh my gosh.
Sweet.
This is like the worst ad read ever made.
Okay, now I have to go fast. The Cellcast hosted by Jacob and Drew review anime movies and TV shows, discussing what they appreciate most about the medium and whatever form it takes. Whether it's traditional hand-drawn animated films, claymation shorts, or 3D CGI series, check out some animated reviews when you subscribe to the Cellcast at thecellcast.podbean.com. And don't forget, Cell is spelled with a C and a single L at thecellcast.podbean.com.
Are you guys having a killer time?
And for serious, go to thecellcast.podbean.com with a C and an L.
That's great, Francisco, and it's great to have Drew on here.
Yes.
But what does the Cellcast have to do with Napoleon Dynamite?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just
I know the answer to this.
I mean, I was going to tell you, stop it with that sign, Bobo. But Drew, why don't you explain to us?
Oh, I'll explain. In the after credits scene, which I bet none of y'all stayed for,
I did.
Kip and LaFonda get married, and my co-host just this last weekend married his bride. So there you go.
Gross.
Yay.
You know what?
Yeah,
and
that's good.
And actually, that's the connection we were looking for, Paul. How you like that?
Oh,
how you like them apples?
No, I think the TV show has a better connection.
Fine. How about some trivia about Napoleon Dynamite, the movie, then?
The movie? Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Did you all realize John Heder drew all the drawings in the movie except the unicorn, which I actually don't remember the unicorn except on his sign on his door, but he drew all the other drawings in the movie. So with that in mind, what animal or thing do you generally draw when you doodle? Let's start with Paul.
When I doodle, it generally goes to cartoony people.
Cartoony people. Okay. Do you have a certain style you like to make those cartoony people in?
Yeah, I guess it's just this cartoony style. Start with the eyes, the nose, and mouth. And
no, but like there's lots of like Hanna-Barbera cartoony style, Warner Brothers cartoony style, Disney.
No, it's not any name brand style.
Oh, it's PaulJPowers.com style.
It's PaulJPowers.com doodle.
Nice. I like it.
There you go.
How about you, Drew?
I have a tendency, well, when I doodle, I'm kind of being brainless for the most part.
Okay.
And I kind of end up drawing like one of the most easy things I possibly could, which are these soot sprites from Studio Ghibli movies such as Totoro and Spirited Away.
Yes,
because I can kind of do that without thinking for the most part, except for the eyes. I have to pay attention to the eyes because those things have eyes.
Yes, they do.
Sure.
And it's, if I don't draw eyes, it's tribbles, which is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I suppose. Though I don't think you can squash.
You're talking about those dust mites?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're soot sprites, and in I think Spirited Away. I don't remember what they called them in Totoro.
Yeah.
I forget what they are in Totoro also.
But they're basically the same.
They're very similar.
So.
Though I don't think the ones in Totoro have eyes. I think that's just in Spirited Away.
They may not, but either way.
But either way, that leaves you, Bobo. What do you like to doodle?
If I'm doodling, it's usually nonsensical lines, but if it's something that makes sense, it's probably just a basic stick figure person, probably with like one of those Steve Martin arrows through the head.
Yeah.
Just to dress it up a little bit. Because I'm not real artsy drawing-wise, so that's about it.
Nice. Very cool.
And what about you, Francisco?
I usually would draw geometric shapes. I don't know if you guys had this growing up in school, but they had that's a container of like hexagons, triangles, squares, diamonds, and you could put them all together in different sort of
is that
sun
concentration
shapes.
Before the timer runs out?
No, you're thinking perfection.
That's it.
No, it's neither of those. It's like tetrahedrons.
For a second, I thought he was describing a spirograph, but it really
no. I like spirographs too, but you can't do that by hand. You need a gear to do that. Regardless, that's why I like to doodle just geometric shapes,
random shapes. Gotcha.
Cool. All right, great trivia, Francisco.
Thank you, Paul.
And now that we've all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, the Rad Rewinders, had about Napoleon Dynamite.
All right. Stephen Forrester starts us by saying, I remember curling up into a corner in the fetal position, sucking my thumb and crying for days, wishing that I had not wasted 1 hour and 26 minutes of my life on this movie. Then in that conversation thread, Bex from Redeemed Otaku says, tell us how you really feel, with a laugh face. And Stephen expands, which we won't read the entirety of here, but to flesh it out a bit, Stephen said in response to Bex, I was 14 when this came out. I watched it with my 13-year-old brother, 2 younger nephews, and mom. My nephews loved it, but my brother and I eventually stood up without any advanced preparation and said in unison, I cannot take this anymore. It always seemed to appeal to a certain demographic of viewers with very specific comedic tastes. Seems like you either had to be a little kid or about 30.
Doesn't explain me at 18.
No. All right.
Or
Diane Blix leaves several quotes, including, I can do anything I want to.
I caught you a delicious bass.
Bow to your sensei. Vote for Pedro. Vote for Pedro. The dance of Pedro's election speech, and
you've got skills.
Thank you, Paul. Becky Smith says, this movie is often quoted in my household.
Kevin Joshua Burnham says, as a homeschooler, I had no concept of high school, prom, school pictures, or bullies, other than my brothers and sisters ganging up on me. However, we found this odd, awkward, some parts utter cringe, and very hilarious. Not a film to forget and a classic by me.
Who Will Save Generation X podcast says, your mom goes to college?
That's not a question mark. It's an exclamation mark.
Your mom goes to college.
Oh, wait. I thought it was a question.
Goes to college.
No, it's a mocking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your mom goes to college.
Were you even paying attention to what you were watching?
That's why he doesn't like the film. He wasn't paying attention.
Watching it and paying attention and watching this on 1x speed before anyone makes that assumption.
Yeah. It took 17 hours.
How many times did you pause?
Once, maybe?
Oh, never mind.
Dustin Warford says, whoever voted tragic, watch it again. This movie's hilarious.
And Asher Reese ends by saying, I remember putting off seeing this movie when it first came out because the trailer made it look awful. I put it off as long as I could, but people constantly quoting this iconic, quote unquote, film eventually led me to renting this from Blockbuster. Time wasted that I can never get back. I was better off not knowing the context of these quotes. Just plain awful.
What the heck would you do in a situation like that?
Well, you know what? Maybe there's reasons that we, like Ashley, would maybe choose to call this movie awful. Let's get into the things we disliked about Napoleon Dynamite. Alice?
Worst woes.
All right. And let's start with, me, because mine was linked. So I'll kick things off.
Okay.
Change it up on me, PaulJPowers.com. So I said that my classmaker was that this movie ended, except that it didn't, because we had 5 freaking more minutes of this movie at the very end of it for no reason at all.
Fun fact.
No reason. You can't convince me otherwise.
That one scene costs the same as half of the movie.
Wow.
Was it somewhere the MTV said they needed to do more or something, or
they filmed it? I don't remember if it was after it showed up. It was at the film festivals, or if it was after its theatrical run. But they filmed it after just for an extra scene.
For no reason at all. Okay, so that was my first dislike. Let's go to Bobo next. What's something you didn't like about this film?
I'm proud of you. You kept that one brief. That was good. This is my second one, but I'm going to start with this. I don't like how I had a few problems with this movie. I don't like how creepy Uncle Rico got as the movie went on, and I didn't like the principal seemed to be getting kind of creepy too. Like during Summer Wheatley's little skit thing, he gets kind of a smirk on his face.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
They're both just ill.
Yeah.
As the movie goes
no,
on.
I get that.
So,
do you suppose Rico was sleeping with the women that he was like selling to? Because he's in that one house when Napoleon had to go to prom for a long time.
I don't know.
They asked that the director in the commentary, and he said no, he was just selling. At least that was his intention.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you know how that works in Idaho.
Yeah, it works different in Idaho.
Yeah.
You need to put if you could turn the lights down, then I would be able to explain and understand, but we're not doing that now.
Maybe I will. Gosh.
I'm just keeping the deep cuts going. Okay, let's go to Drew next. Did you feel like there are any creepy characters in this or something else?
Uncle Rico. In fact, it really got bad when he switched to the second product there, Bust Must Plus.
Yeah. And giving it to like high schoolers, I was like, oh gosh, like, what are you doing?
Okay. The cops should be on your tail.
Yeah, exactly.
Point, because that is sexual harassment, and that's not cool. And admittedly, that's where this film loses a lot of its funny. That it does have.
What the heck are you guys doing? Trying to ruin my life and make me look like a friggin' idiot?
And granted, we got to get to the point where Dub apparently has to be mad at Napoleon, but that only just barely gets fixed by the end of the movie. So
yeah, which makes me wonder.
I don't know why they went that far.
Yeah.
And I did like how Deb stood up for herself though with that phone call. That was good.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
On the Rico thing, this didn't make my final list, but I do want to say I have no idea who that woman is that bikes rides to Rico at the very end, and it's like another pointless moment. Thank you.
So
near the girlfriend. I knew you weren't going to know who that was.
Near the very beginning, Kip asks Uncle Rico about his girlfriend or wife. I couldn't remember what the relationship was. And he says that they're on the outs, and that's who that's supposed to be that comes back at the very end.
She dumped him because he kept living in 1982.
And why is she back? What changed all of a sudden?
Because it's a happy ending for everybody, Francisco. I know maybe you don't like happy endings for everybody.
I don't. I want that dog to die.
But that's what it is.
All right.
Uncle
Thank
Rico
you for
did
at
not
least having an explanation. I appreciate that at least.
Uncle Rico did not need the happy ending. I'm going to say that right here, right now.
Fair. Very fair.
He should have died in obscurity out in that field.
Okay. How do you really feel, Drew?
I don't like this character.
Let's go to Paul next. What don't you like?
I thought most of the music in here, not the songs with lyrics, but most of the music was a little bit off and quirky. Now, I know this movie is off and quirky, and it kind of matches that.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
But it for me, it's a little bit. It's not my style, and in fact, it for me it slows the movie down and. It's just, if I'm going to have like a quirky song, I'd rather it be more like.
Really?
But I know it doesn't match the style of the movie. So I know what they were going for, but I don't know. Maybe an instrumental would have been, this is instrumental.
Yeah.
I was thinking
except
maybe
for the lyric
orchestra.
ones, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You mean something that's not MIDI. Like cheap Casio MIDI.
Maybe. I don't know.
Actually, I feel like they should have leaned more into that. I felt like they were trying to play it safe, like go halfway with it. I wish they would have gone even more.
I'll be talking more about this in a minute.
All right. Well, why don't you talk about it now, Drew?
Okay, then.
Or in a minute.
The problem is right with this soundtrack is that it's basically it's being played on what sounds like a really cheap Casio, but it's wanting to sound like it's orchestral.
Yeah.
And I think this really sounds the worst when you get to the A-Team theme in that one.
That was a horrible rendition of
that is a very horrible rendition because it sounds just enough like the orchestra that the fact that it's doesn't match the original song exactly is awkward because it's being played on this really crappy MIDI Casio. I'm assuming it's a Casio. I have no idea what brand the piano is, but it's very obvious. Like there was this was like the cheapest soundtrack they could get away with. I feels like they used what was the temp tracks that they would then go to the orchestra to replace so they could get the editing done. Yeah. And they never went back and replaced the temp tracks.
But in a way, it all kind of flows with its awkward quirkiness, but maybe that was intentional or maybe not.
So, but I will also say it threw me every time the song stopped like mid measure.
Yeah. And it cuts
the scene. Just because we were going on to another scene. It's like, it doesn't feel like that was a good transition. It felt like it was just blah.
But I was glad it stopped.
That works. Let's see, Baba, what's something you wish had stopped in this movie?
Some unexplained things. I like things to make sense in movies as a general rule.
Yeah.
So I for one thing, it always bugs me when you see a scene of people at school and they're not doing anything they're supposed to. Like the gym class scene, Napoleon and Pedro are sitting in the bleachers. They've got their gym uniforms on and they're just sitting there because nobody's supervising, I guess.
Yeah.
Summer's over there talking to who knows, whoever. So apparently their gym teachers just don't exist. That wouldn't have been allowed at my school. Pedro's cousin's coming along when Napoleon is, I guess he's going to run to Trisha's house to take her to the dance or something. And then Pedro's cousins are just there somehow. I'm not clear on that. There was this one really
Pedro's gangster cousins.
His gangster cousins, who are awesome, by the way.
I love the character's existence, but their introduction leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah. Just when they pull up and that guy's trying to steal the bike, and the one guy just shakes his head.
That
is fun.
That dude should be in wrestling. Anyway, this one really bugged me when it came up. Was Grandma leaves. She says she's going to be back tomorrow. But she got hurt and she ended up going to the hospital. So presumably she didn't come back to the house.
Yeah.
And yet the next day there was a note on the fridge before Rico shows up. And it says, don't forget to feed Tina, love Grandma.
I thought that was before she left.
That was before we saw the crash on the ATV.
But
so maybe she came back home and went back out.
Oh.
Why would she have come back home? We didn't see her come back home, though. And she didn't say she was coming back home. She said she was going to be back tomorrow.
Maybe it was there before.
That's what I sort of assumed.
Grandma's. See, I don't know that about like why leave it there before, because then just to say don't forget to feed Tina now and don't forget to feed her tomorrow. So
Unless
anyway,
it was just a note that was. If it was a note that was on the leftovers that they were going to feed Tina, I could see that, and he's just looking at it dejectedly. It's like, oh, I can't believe I've got to do this.
Yeah.
I could see that, but that's not how it looks, the way they shot it.
Mm-hmm.
Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner.
And I don't get Tina's in a field of grass, so I assume the llamas eat, so why does she need extra dinner?
Because the casserole the llama eats more than just grass.
Oh, so
protein.
As llamas have existed, they always had someone to cook in a glass 9x13 for them some food.
In Idaho,
What the heck would you do in a situation like that?
llamas need cream of mushroom casserole, man.
Right.
Obviously.
They eat better than him just having a quesadilla.
Oh my gosh, yes, I did
Not
notice
just a quesadilla, a dang quesadilla.
That too, yeah. That's the upgraded version.
Oh my goodness. Paul, why don't you what downgraded this movie for you?
I know this happens in life, the bullying and the picking on, but I don't like watching it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's there and it sets up the character and the struggles and everything, but I don't like to watch it.
Yeah. I guess I'll add to that. It didn't feel like those struggles were really overcome in any meaningful way. So I felt like, yeah, then why have them there at all?
Just to show the daily struggles.
Yeah, I could see that. Something that I didn't understand how this showed daily struggles, but the thing that, as much as I liked that Napoleon was able to, or John Heer was able to really like tap into how he's feeling about watching this film in his performance, I didn't understand why so many characters just seemed so like they were on drugs or something, or like on some sort of what's there's things that
Ritalin?
not Ritalin, things like Ritalin that make you just sort of feel like all like open mouth, slack jawed, you can barely keep your eyes open.
They're bored with life. There's
all of them.
Yes.
Really?
They're in Idaho. Have you ever been there?
remember high school?
Except for Summer Wheatley, she was having a ball.
Yeah, I was about to say that was true of my high school. That's true of me, and I'm not on drugs. Like
you don't look that way right now, Paul. What are you talking about?
Well, that's because I'm talking with you and stuff. We're having conversations.
Yeah, and they have conversations in this throughout, and they still look like that.
All right.
Point Francisco.
Maybe it's just that all their lives suck.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but let's say that's the case. It's not. If you're making a comedy movie and not some like just down in the dumps drama, I don't see what you're how that
part
helps.
of that is funny. Part of that is humor.
Not to me. Okay, I guess that's like my sense of humor does not tap into that at all. I am just like, could you please?
It's like I said.
Expression.
It's like I said earlier. If you cannot buy into the comedy of the awkward, this movie almost leaves you nothing.
Yeah. That's
I understand that.
Well put, Drew. And we now are going to put our tragic makers for Napoleon Dynamite, the things we hated most about this film. Mine is very much like this only appeals to certain people. This tragic maker is probably only going to be a thing for Francisco. And that's, I get physically ill and nauseous when I see those people drinking the raw eggs and eating the fly sandwiches. I'm seriously like, I was thinking back to it as I was ordering my dislikes, and it was making me almost feel nauseous again, like to the point of like, ugh. I just like, I like it's in my mind now, and I just couldn't. It makes me queasy. So I just hate that whole scene so much. And I don't know why that's even in there. He doesn't make any money.
Oh my gosh.
So, okay.
He makes enough to buy that suit.
It's only $6 for the suit.
Yeah.
Well, it's enough.
Probably.
You may have had money before.
Then show me how else you make money. Mow lawns or something. I don't need to see. I don't know. That really bothered me. So that was my tragic maker. Let's go to Paul next. What was your tragic maker for this film?
Well, I don't think it's anybody's going to be surprised if they've heard any of my ratings before and why. But a lot of this movie was slow and boring, and I led up to it with the music and such. And there's just a lot of filler in between a lot of the jokes.
Those credits were interesting.
That was not white text on black background.
Yeah.
Oh, the opening titles. Yeah, that was fine.
That might have been the most interesting part of this movie, in fact.
But there's a lot of in between stuff that just made the movie drag, and that's fair. All right,
Drew, what really dragged this movie down for you?
Okay, so I haven't seen this movie in 15 years.
Okay,
all right. When I did see this movie, like I said, I've probably seen this movie about 10 or 15 times.
Oh, wow.
Almost all of that was 15 years ago.
Oh.
Because this was the unofficial movie of my college and career group when I graduated high school.
Oh, okay.
This came out right about that time. So I had a lot, and I do mean a lot, of pleasant, funny memories attached to this film, watching it with my friends and stuff. 15 years later, I do kind of wonder what everyone was laughing at sometimes. Because while there's still funny moments in this, there's a lot of this that just didn't hold up for me all this time later.
Yeah.
And I think that's the tragic maker for me here. It's like it doesn't hold up to what I remember 15 years ago. So you might be guessing my final rating here.
Classic all the way from Drew. That's amazing.
But yeah, it just doesn't hold up as well as I would have liked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worst day of my life. What do you think?
And that leaves Baba. What's the worst thing about this movie for you?
Well, if you throw up on stream, that'll be the worst thing. Although that might be entertaining. I'll rate it tragic if you throw up on stream.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if there's some in these Bean Boozled,
there we go.
Egg in here or something. No, go for it.
Why don't you go eat a decrepit piece of crap?
Okay, I too have seen this movie probably 15 times or so over the years. It had been a little while since I'd seen it. I think since viewing number 1, I have not liked this.
Oh, okay.
That final scene after the credits where Kip starts singing with that little Casio thing playing in the background.
Yeah.
That is so cringe for me. I've tried to appreciate it. I've tried to take the perspective of, what if I was getting married and my bride was doing this? And I thought, no, I would still hate this and want her to stop. So,
do you know that this is the hidden track at the end of the soundtrack?
Oh my gosh!
I'm glad I don't own the soundtrack.
See,
keep it hidden.
That would have made so much sense if him doing that ran off LaFonda, whatever her name is. If that ran her off, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. She loved everything else, but that thing she couldn't stand. I thought that would have been funny and a great purpose for that last scene. But no!
Yeah, I like everything else fine about they got married happily ever after, fine, whatever. But can we at least make that song 2 seconds long and be done with it? It
goes on far too long.
It does. It does. All right.
It really does.
Well, now that we've entered so that we don't go on too long, now that we've entered all our trajectories into the firing computer, Alice, you have a firing solution for us.
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo armed and ready to fire on your mark.
Wait, there he is. There's Tom Salvo Authority. At least he's represented well in this stream, even if not by audio.
Goes in the archives.
Oh, gosh. Heck yes.
All right. Do we rate Napoleon Dynamite a classic? We'd recommend anyone go see this movie, whether or not they've seen it before. A nostalgic, if you remember liking it, when you saw it last, then yeah, definitely go watch it again. You'll have a fun time. But if you've never seen it before, pass this one by. Or do we rate it a tragic? It's not worth anyone's time. If you've never seen it before, definitely keep it that way. And if you have seen it before, don't squander any good memories you have of it with a rewatch. So let us begin with Drew. What is your final rating for Napoleon Dynamite? You had predicted nostalgic. Where did it end up?
So I kind of hinted where I was leaning a couple minutes ago. And the more I'm thinking about it, see, when I predicted nostalgic, I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. And I think to some degree that benefit was warranted because there were still some good scenes in this. So believe it or not, even though I was leaning tragic, I'm going nostalgic still.
I heard tragic first, so I'll write that one down because I think that's...
No, it's nostalgic.
I heard tragic. You said tragic first. First is the first...
I am leaning that direction, but I am going with the lowest possible rung of the nostalgic ladder.
I think the lowest rung of the nostalgic ladder is tragic. So, okay, nostalgic.
No, that's below.
All right. Helps. He's writing this in ketchup on a hamburger, so we can just put the bun on there and wipe it into the
All right, so nostalgic final rating for Drew. Baba, you had predicted classic. Did it live up to that, or did it change for you?
This is yet another one that has been very difficult to rate.
Oh, okay.
I woke up this morning,
just kind of TO'd.
And I thought I knew what I was going to rate this, and throughout the day, I actually started to turn on it a little bit, and I was not so sure, because even though I generally like this movie, I want to encourage people to watch it. I also have to admit to people who hate this movie, I did not get it the first time that I saw it. I think I had to watch it about 5 times before something finally clicked.
Oh, okay.
And I got what they were going for. For anybody who absolutely hates this thing, I kind of get it. It takes a while. It's an acquired taste.
Sure.
So I almost stuck with classic, but I actually do have to bring it down to a nostalgic.
Okay. All right.
I think the quotes, anytime something is this quotable, I think that gives it a strong case for classic, because you at least got to see it so you know what's going on with those quotes, where they're coming from. But I can't quite say that it holds up to what I think the level of classic is for this show. So I do have to bring it down a notch.
All right.
Everybody at school thinks I'm a freaking idiot because of you.
Very fair. Now we like to go to our reflux capacitors who make this time travel possible. And they seemed very conflicted because we had a tie there between classic and tragic. So we're going to average out your guys' reigns and say that you rated Napoleon Dynamite nostalgic. So that's 3 nostalgics. But so we have at least that for the final reign. But Paul, you had predicted tragic. Did it end up being a nostalgia for you?
Well, I hesitantly watched this, and I found myself laughing out loud more than I thought. And then because I actually bought it on sale for $5, and it had not one but 2 commentaries.
Oh wow!
And I wound up watching both. Okay. So I watched this 3 times for this podcast. More.
Wow. Okay.
Just in the past couple of days.
So by Bobo's metrics, you must love this movie now, right?
You know what? If someone wants to watch it again, I'm there. Like,
I thought I knew you. PaulJPowers.com.
It is polarizing, so I'm going to stick with a nostalgic in that it's not for everybody.
You predicted tragic.
Yes, I'm going to stick my landing on nostalgic.
All right, fine.
Embrace the chaos, Francisco.
Hardly. Geek Devotions. Well, first, I want to read a couple things from chat because this cracked me up. Ashley said, peanut butter on hamburger is an acquired taste, which I approve of. It is fantastic. This movie is the equivalent of eating vomit.
Ew. Gross.
Hold that thought. Geek Devotion says, plot twist, this is a classic for Francisco. Hold that thought.
Wait. eating vomit.
I see you're drinking 1%. Is that because you think you're fat?
I am fat.
Wow. So I had predicted this movie was going to be tragic. And I mean, if you haven't figured out that my classic maker being that it ended and one of my dislikes being that it didn't really end, I think you're not paying attention because this is totally a tragic movie. Oh my gosh. Get this out of my memories. I don't even want, at least I will give it this. It is a movie, unlike something else, which is an unmovie, aka not a movie. This is a movie. I will give it that amount of credibility. Everything else, though,
things are getting pretty serious.
No me gusta. So, but according to the Retro Rewind podcast, because everyone is against me, we rate Napoleon Dynamite a disputed nostalgic film. We'd recommend anyone, if you have seen this before, check it out again, probably enjoy it, or you might enjoy it more. But if you've never seen it before, definitely don't. And I can second that. But now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
20XX, come!
ComSat online. Awaiting incoming transmissions.
Did he just second himself? Well, anyway.
Yeah, I can do that. I have the power. And
that's
it feels
not seconding,
good.
That's squaring.
It feels good to have the power and to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 2004 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Deborah Powers, Geek Devotions, Drew the Cellcast. Oh, you're right here.
Hey!
Ashley Ruiz, Kenneth, Fabulous Lomax. That's our Bob. Oh, you're here too. Woo-hoo! D. Tungsten, Mr. Lost, Gerald Hafner, Cool Deluxe, Dustin, He's a Big Deal Warford, Flux, Redeemed Otaku, in addition to 2 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to start.
Oh, this is the part where I normally have a nice little promo for pauljpowers.com, and it usually ties in with what we're covering. Sometimes it's a distant, way off the reach, just like Francisco's Fourth Like.
Wow.
Usually ties in. And honestly, I tried, guys. I got a couple back that it just wasn't good quality. So
bummer.
I don't have one for you guys, but pauljpowers.com. You know, I tried, I did my best, but
your best.
Yeah.
Losers always whine about their best. Winners are sponsored by pauljpowers.com, like this stream here.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Sean. All right, moving along.
I can attest to that. Anyway,
thank you to all our supporters. Hey, Francisco, is there any way for people to support the show if they're a little low on funds, that they don't require more funds?
Yes, sorry, I'm shaking my head at something Bobo posted in chat. But yes, Paul, you listening probably enjoyed this episode if you made it this far. So if you aren't driving and succumb with rage at my rating or these guys' rating, then tap the share icon in your podcast player and send this episode to a friend saying, "I know you like Napoleon Dynamite, so I thought you might like this podcast about it."
What? Cool. And I'll bet they'll thank you for it. And speaking of thanking people, we want to give a big, sweet hug to David Bobko Bobke and Drew Dodgen for supporting us with their thoughts on Napoleon Dynamite. So since we like to go in alphabetical order, we'll start with Bobo. And so where can people find you online if you want to be found? And is there anything cool you got going on? If not, it's cool.
No, I'm gonna try to hijack the ship sometime soon, so don't tell Francisco.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Francisco. Take your headset off. Oh, never mind. And beyond that, if you want to hear more of me, you can go listen to the Greg and Dave show, available on the Internet Archive, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're old episodes, but whatever. And beyond that, if I could ask a quick favor, Paul, can you play that music again real quick?
The music? This one?
That nice music drop. No, that other one.
Oh, you mean apparently some people like it.
That's soothing balm to me after Francisco's hatred of this movie.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Bite meter's not quite full, but go ahead.
And
give it time.
So thank you, Bobo. And Drew, where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on that people should know about?
You can find me over at the Cellcast, where we review animated movies and television shows. Technically, we're on a hiatus right now because my co-host just got married.
Oh, congratulations!
And in celebration for that, and me giving him a month off, I got a bunch of our friends, including Paul J. Powers and Francisco here, to record some episodes, reviewing some shorts. And as of this recording, Paul and Francisco's are already out, so go check that out.
Yeah, we talked about khakis versus jean shorts. It was interesting. Kind of some different.
Those kind of shorts. That's a different podcast.
But they are comfy and easy to wear.
But if you like Chrono Trigger or Tex Avery cartoons.
Tex Avery and Chrono Trigger, which is an interesting combination.
Indeed.
That would be a fun one.
Yes. So go listen to that. Plus, right now on Tuesdays, right before you join the Retro Rewind podcast for their live streams or games or whatever, you can watch my stream where I'm playing through Final Fantasy XI because apparently I want to torture myself with this 20-year-old game.
And that's at the Cellcast Gaming?
That's at the Cellcast Gaming on Twitch.
Awesome. And thank you so much, Bobo, Drew. We also want to thank Alutrick for enhancing our music. Find him at alutrick.bandcamp.com or youtube.com/@Alutrick. That's spelled ALLOOUTRICK, then the number 8266 for the YouTube. So thank you so much to him. And of course, thank you to my awesome, my Dynamite friend, Paul, and all you rewinders, new and old, for another fun voyage.
You're welcome. And you can find me, pauljpowers.com, at pauljpowers.com.
And you can find me on our Discord for show announcements or just to say hi. Join us there at retrorewindpodcast.com/Discord and keep in the know about the board game I'm designing at junkyardjuggernauts.com.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box, a curated collection of podcasts, videos, and articles that will provide you a balanced meal of content. You will find culture celebrated for its past and future, satirized for its extremes, explored in study, and created anew in story. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
I think I know those guys.
Whoa, what?
As Uncle Rico just said, we're now part of the Culture Box Media Network. Heck yes, they're good. Those guys are sweet. Find all the shows unpacking truth through comedy and story and geekery with their ninja skills, computer hacking skills, and magic at culturebox.media.
Thank you, Napoleon and EXO, and thank you for listening. We pray you are more joyful today than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all for the Blues Brothers. Give me some lovin' every day on our next adventure of the Retro Rewind podcast.
They're on a mission from God.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to base to await next mission.
Popular guy in high school, ladies and gentlemen, and here now to present tonight's top 10 list, Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, here he is.
Hey, Dave.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. The category top 10 signs you're not the most popular guy in your high school. Here we go. Number 10.
Your yearbook photo caption reads, unidentified sophomore.
Number 9.
Your only friend is the one you built in shop class.
Number 8.
School song includes phrase about how much you suck.
Number 7.
Every time you talk to a girl, the conversation inevitably drifts to your frequent nosebleeds.
Yeah. Number 6.
The stupid kid who gets his tater tots stolen every day, he steals your tater tots.
Yeah.
Your tater tots rule.
Yeah, that's right. Number 5.
Everyone's jealous of your tetherball skills. I mean, my tetherball skills.
Number 4.
Not only did you take your mom to the prom, you had to pay her $20.
Yeah. Signs you're not the most popular guy in your high school. Number 3.
You can't dance like this.
That's right. Number 2.
Lord of the Rings figurines, 50. Friends, 0. Lord of the Rings rules.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And the number 1 sign you're not the most popular guy in your high school.
How the heck would I know? I'm like the coolest kid in school. God.
That was it.
So that was when, and the next day was when David Letterman was canceled, right? Because that wasn't funny at all.
Whatever. Gosh.